So welcome to the Als Association's Celebration of Excellence Breakfast. My name is Chris Bersalis, and I'm the chairman of the Public Policy Committee of the Als Association's National Board of Trustees. So how's everyone doing this morning? Great. So are you ready to make a difference on Capitol Hill today? Are you ready to make a difference? All right. Well, that's great because that's exactly what we are going to do. But before we board the buses and head to the Hill, we want to take some time this morning to celebrate some of the accomplishments you've helped to realize and recognize some of the individuals whose contributions to our cause and to the Als Association have made a significant impact in the fight to find a treatment and a cure. Thanks to this conference and your efforts to advocate throughout the year, we are making a difference not only in advancing research into the cause, treatment, and cure for ALS, but also in improving the lives of people with ALS and their families living with the disease today. Since we joined together for this celebration since last year, you have forced Medicare to repeal their policy that would have prohibited coverage for speech devices that have had the capability to access the internet, send and receive email, among other functions so important to people with ALS. Your outreach led 200 members of the House and Senate to sign onto a letter opposing the changes Medicare had made. 200! That's absolutely unheard of. What's even more remarkable is that this was accomplished during a congressional recess. Most members of Congress were not even in Washington, but were back home in their states and districts. It's a testament to the power of your advocacy. You know, at the beginning of this month, Medicare released a new draft coverage policy that, if implemented, would provide coverage for email, phone, and text capability and permit access to other technologies such as the internet and environmental controls. This is great progress, and again, due to your outreach, but we still have more work to do today. We need to enact the Gleason Act. We need to enact the Gleason Act. Since we met last year, you increased funding to the National ALS Registry. Yes, increased funding by 30%. That's huge in this financial climate. What's this funding doing? It's supporting multiple research projects designed to find what causes ALS. It's also helping to connect people with ALS to clinical trials, which they may be eligible to participate, and it's being used to launch a biorepository that collects blood and tissue samples and links them to environment and other risk factor data. And when this is fully launched, people will not have to leave their homes in order to donate samples to the biorepository. Funding from the registry program will enable medical professionals to conduct home visits to every person with ALS who wishes to participate. You know, since we met last year, you helped secure an additional $7.5 million for the ALS research program at the Department of Defense. That's incredible. Total funding for this program is nearly $52 million. What's this funding doing? It's being used to find a treatment, and it's already identified 4 potential treatments for ALS, thanks to all of you. What else? Oh yeah, since we met last year, a small thing called the Ice Bucket Challenge happened. Remember that back in August? That also was driven by you with a huge thank you due to Anthony Cernuccia, Pete Frates, Pat Quinn. Millions are being directed to research into improving the lives of people living with ALS today and their families. Thanks to the Ice Bucket Challenge, the Als Association and other ALS organizations around the world are able to support or expand projects that otherwise would not have happened. Both projects to support research and to support those living with ALS. One of the things that the Ice Bucket Challenge has enabled the Als Association to do is to launch an ALS community-wide initiative to create a guidance document for ALS drug development that will be submitted to the FDA. The guidance will provide a roadmap to industry and the FDA for how to develop and approve effective treatments for ALS, how to do it better and faster, get treatments in the hands of people with ALS as soon as possible. The process will also be a true collaboration. The entire ALS community is involved. It includes other ALS organizations, industry, clinicians, and researchers, government, and most importantly, people with ALS, their caregivers, and their families. This initiative is underway, and it's made possible by the Ice Bucket Challenge and all of you. One important thing about the Ice Bucket Challenge that certainly has not gone unnoticed is that the new awareness of ALS has provided us with new opportunities to make an even bigger difference on Capitol Hill. And we absolutely must seize on this and increased visibility to find a treatment to advance the policies that improve the lives of people with ALS. While the Ice Bucket Challenge raised significant funding for ALS, more must be done. After all, it takes about 10 to 20 Ice Bucket Challenges to develop one treatment. That's about $1 to $2 billion with a B. The government also remains the single largest source of funding for ALS research and healthcare. And we need to make more members of Congress know that the fight is not over simply because of the success of the Ice Bucket Challenge. Again, more must be done, and we cannot let up. We must move forward with full speed ahead. And that's just what we're going to do today on Capitol Hill. Are you ready for the challenge? All right. So this morning, I'm honored and pleased to have the opportunity to recognize some of those whose extraordinary efforts have helped us make a difference and who inspire us to achieve even greater success. First, I'd like to thank the individuals, organizations, and companies whose generous sponsorship of this conference has enabled us to host such an empowering event. You can see a list of our sponsors on the video screens. They include Biota, the Biotechnology Industry Association, Biogen, Breas, Halyard, Hillrom, Lilly, New Motion, Permobile, Pfizer, the Pharmaceutical Research Manufacturers of America, Quantum, Sunrise Medical, Synapse Biomedical, Tobii Dynavox, and Ellen C. Phillips and Amy Phillips. Their support is greatly appreciated. I also want to especially thank Permobile. They have assembled a team here in Washington who are volunteering time and equipment to assist people with any difficulties they may experience with their wheelchairs this week and to ensure people with ALS can fully participate in this conference and the meetings on Capitol Hill today. I also want to recognize the Als Association Trustees who are joining us in Washington, D.C. for this conference. Doug Butcher, Mark Calmes, Don Casey, Denise Cormie-Strader, Nancy Frades, Sue Gorman, Ted Harada, Marty Herbert, Kathy Holt, Tom Kettler, Christy Karlarsik, John Crave, Lou Libby, Kim Ann Mink, Warren Nelson, Ellen Phillips, Judy Pratt, Cam Ward, and Stephen Winthrop. Also joining us is the leadership of the Board of Representatives, Toby Kucharski, Bob Kramer, and Kevin Hemingway. Their tireless efforts have helped us make the Als Association a world leader in advocacy, research, and patient services. Before we proceed to this year's awards, there are a few others I want to thank, including the speakers who shared their experiences with us on Sunday night's Candlelight Vigil. 17-year-old Sarah Caldwell, Kim Ann Leary, and Ryan Mink, and Kate Linder. Their moving tribute Sunday evenings certainly remind all of us why we will be on Capitol Hill today. And thank you to Paul Carey, who emceed the Candlelight Vigil. Paul and the entire Carey family have been tremendous advocates for the association and all of you. Now, I would like to present this year's Advocacy Awards. The first award presented this morning is the Jacob K. Javits Public Service Award. The Javits Award is presented to the individual or individuals who exemplify the qualities of leadership, compassion, and commitment to public service so heroically demonstrated by the U.S. Senator Javits of New York, who lost his life to ALS in 1986. The recipient of this year's award is one of our strongest champions on Capitol Hill. Since he was first elected to the House of Representatives in 2006 from Connecticut's 2nd Congressional District, Congressman Joe Courtney has consistently supported ALS issues. He leads the effort in the House to secure funding for the ALS research program at the Department of Defense, and also been a leading supporter of the National ALS Registry and the National Institutes of Health. When the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services changed their coverage policy for speech-generating devices last year, Congressman Courtney fought on our behalf to ensure people with ALS would continue to have access to these critical technologies. His support for ALS issues has not simply been a matter of advocating good public policy and programs. It's personal. Congressman Courtney lost his father-in-law, Stan Budars, and his former law partner, Lou Flaherty, to ALS. His support is also driven by his relationship with his constituents in Connecticut. It is driven by his firsthand experience interacting with people with ALS, understanding how this disease impacts his neighbors and their families, and recognizing that more can and must be done. Congressman Courtney has seen the disease and wants to bring it to an end. Our cause is his cause. He also was one of the first members of Congress to participate in the Ice Bucket Challenge, joining Connecticut Chapter Executive Mike Burke and Public Policy Chair John Hacks as he accepted the challenge. Congressman Joe Courtney continues to be a great champion and leader of our cause on Capitol Hill. He stands with us as we fight to find a treatment, and for that we are extremely grateful. On behalf of the entire ALS community, it is my privilege to present the 2015 Jacob Javits Award to Congressman Joe Courtney.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chris, for your kind words and for this amazing honor to be here today. again, looking around the room here and knowing sort of the environment that we're in here in Washington, and former Congresswoman Bono and I were just talking about it a second or so ago, sometimes it's very difficult for people to come here and not see sort of the place move the way it should. But I cannot tell you how important it is that you're all here and ready to start sort of making the Hill visits. It's a busy time. There's a lot going on, and that's why it's even more important that you're here to be visible and vocal, because I'm actually an optimist. I think that the pendulum is starting to swing where now the issue of medical research is starting to move up the food chain in terms of people's recognition, A, that this is what the American people want, and B, that we can do this. If the investments are made, we can actually see real change to make sure that the people who are suffering from this condition and others actually can find help and actually success. So, you're the real heroes here today. And again, as you go up and talk about the Steve Gleason Act and the funding for the defense bill this year, which again is in play right now, just know that you're not wasting your time. You're really doing something that can result in real good outcomes and good results. And I want to give a shout out to my friends from Connecticut who are, again, in good, go Huskies, who are here today. And just tell you, we're going to display this very proudly in my office. And it's, as Chris said, it's something that touched my family. It touched a law partner that is one of my heroes. 25 years we practiced law together, and we've got to do better as a nation to make sure that folks like them and some of you and your family out there can really get the attention and help that I think our country wants to provide. But it's just a question of connecting the process to make sure that happens. So thank you very much, and have a great day on the Hill. Take care.
Thank you, Congressman Courtney, for all that you've done in helping us fight the fight and providing your leadership on the Hill. By the way, I also would like to thank former Congresswoman Mary Bono, who's with us this morning. Mary, stand up. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the leadership you've provided. Next, the association would like to pay tribute to a remarkable family that has worked closely with the Greater New York chapter since the family patriarch, Benjamin Vinci, was diagnosed with ALS in 1995. Benjamin Vinci was a true American hero, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Here's a story as shared by New York Senator Charles Schumer and former Senator Hillary Clinton. In 1941, at the age of 21, Benjamin Vinci left his home to serve the U.S. Army, and by December of that year was stationed in Hawaii with the 97th Army Coast Artillery Guard. Like so many there on the morning of December 7th, 1941, Benjamin Vinci was going about his daily business. He had just completed all-night guard duty and was eating breakfast when the whole base erupted in smoke and fire as Japanese warplanes attacked Pearl Harbor and the surrounding area. As bombers strafed the mess tent, a .50 caliber bullet hit Private Vinci in the back. But ignoring his wound, Benjamin Vinci reached an anti-aircraft emplacement and began to fight back. He stepped down only when he was ordered to find an ambulance and tend to his wound. Along the way, instead of seeking cover, Benjamin Vinci ran down the beach and rescued a man who had been shot through the legs. Helping the other soldier onto the motorboat, he navigated through a hail of bombs and ammunition to the other side of the bay, where he finally boarded an ambulance. But on the way to the hospital at Hickam Field, planes targeted the ambulance, and Benjamin Vinci was wounded again, this time a .50 caliber bullet coming to rest near his heart. In the aftermath of the attack, doctors believed Private Vincey's wounds were fatal, but he persevered. He received the Purple Heart and eventually was transferred to a hospital in Colorado, where doctors were able to remove one of the 2 bullets that had almost taken his life, but not both. He carried that second bullet his entire life until he lost his fight with ALS in 2002. Benjamin was an American hero, and so too are his children and his grandchildren for all their efforts to continue the fight against ALS in his memory. His 4 children, Joseph, Bernadette, Joanne, and Pete, took care of their father during his 7-year battle against ALS. Through their experience, they work closely with the Greater New York chapter and have been involved in ALS advocacy since the day the Als Association created an advocacy department. In fact, Benjamin's son Pete attended the very first National ALS Advocacy Conference in 1998 and has made the trip to Washington ever since. His son Peter and sister Bernadette have joined him at this conference for the past 13 years and continue to actively speak out and take part in the fight to find a treatment. After Benjamin Vincey was diagnosed with ALS in 1995, Peter wanted to do something special for his father to carry on the Vincey name. Pete made a promise to his father saying that one day your name will be in the major leagues. On your tables are baseball gloves manufactured by the company Pete Vincey founded. Benjamin Vincey's signature is on each one of them. It's on each one of these gloves. The signature inside is a tribute to Benjamin and to all the people with ALS and their families. It is a symbol of hope, inspiration, and courage, the traits that describe Benjamin Vincey, his family, and all people with ALS. I'd like to thank the Vincey family for all that they have done and continue to do in the fight against ALS. Would you come forth, please?
Thank you very much. We are honored to receive this award. Our dad's fight and love for life has inspired us to be part of this wonderful organization. This event means everything to my family, and we are here for each and every one of you today. We are proud of you. Thank you for all your efforts. My brother Peter has been coming here for 18 years, and we will be coming every year until we have a cure, and we will have a cure. So today, as you hit the hill, good luck, and go get 'em.
Let's give another hand to the Vincey family. Incredible story. As we conclude this morning and prepare for today's meetings, I want to reiterate that all of you in this room have the ability to make a difference. And when you go to Capitol Hill today to share your story, you will represent not only those back home, but everyone whose life has been touched by ALS. And you will help to write the next chapter in the story of this disease. Hopefully, the final chapter, where we bring an end to ALS. Indeed, as I look out to all of you this morning, I am confident that we can achieve success. We can and will find a treatment and a cure. Thank you, and good luck in your meetings today.